Sorry, this is James from the South.
From the South?
Yep, the South.
Okay. James from the South. Hi, James.
Of course it does. Are you serious? I'm not a liberal, a flaming liberal, so of course it's going to be promising.
Okay, so you're not a flaming liberal. What's up?
Oh man, what isn't up in this world today? Let's talk about global warming, because I know you believe in global warming.
Okay. All right. People are very excited here. Okay, let's talk about global warming.
I'm always excited to talk to you. I've heard you on the radio for a while, well, on YouTube. Let's say YouTube for a while, and I love your videos. It cracked me up, and it's finally just hit that point where I got to call you and see if I can get on the air with you.
All right. Well,
So
you're
I'm happy
here,
to be
James.
here.
All right. So you're James from the South, and you want to tell me that global warming is a hoax? Is that it?
Man caused global warming. Absolutely, it's a hoax. Are you serious? There's no true there's no scientific proven evidence that shows that man has caused global to warm up. I mean, there's no evidence to it. If you can prove me otherwise, I'd love to hear it, because you can't.
Well, I'm not a scientist, but it's not enough for you that that literally thousands of scientists, that virtually that every peer-reviewed study shows that global warming is real and that it's anthropomorphic or it's a man-made.
You're cutting out on me real bad.
Are you not aware of the thousands of scientists and the hundreds of peer-reviewed studies that show that global warming is man-made? James?
We lost him.
No. James? All right, James, please call back.
Call us right back, James.
Area code, who's this? All right, hang.
Hello?
You there?
Yes, James is back.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. I got cut off last time, and I called back.
All right, James, I appreciate it. So you were going to tell us. So, James, you've called in. You say you're from the South. You say that you've been watching the show on YouTube, and you just had to call in. What was it that made you call in? What was the last straw for you?
The last straw?
Yeah.
Oh, man, there's a ton of last straws, I'd say. It's just the fact that you're such a liberal at times, and you laugh at libertarians, and I'm a fellow libertarian, and there's so many videos on there, and I feel bad for that one guy. The guy didn't want slavery. He said over and over again he didn't want slavery. Now, he was definitely wrong in what he said, and he doesn't understand libertarianism very well, but you cannot create slavery through libertarianism. You can't do that because you own your own body. And so you cannot have it be taken by anybody else without your own willingness to give it up to someone. So that didn't work, but he didn't want it, so it was the wrong thing to put on your title. I got kind of excited. I wanted to see what this guy wanted. He didn't want libertarian. He didn't want that.
He didn't. Okay. I'm not 100% sure I'm following you here, but so what did you? Now you wanted to call in to refute the notion that global warming is man-made. Well, so let me ask you this: when you read about the IPCC report, this is where you've got literally thousands of scientists backed up by peer-reviewed studies who say that there's a 95 to 97% chance that global warming is a function of what humanity is doing, particularly since the Industrial Revolution. Why do you not take that as being real, or what is your perspective on that?
Because everything that we see, it's not changing, and they keep saying, and you just said it yourself, and this is what cracks me up, 95 or whatever percent chance, because they're showing all these models that say that, oh, well, if the CO2 levels, go rising in our atmosphere, then the temperature is going to rise. Well, look, the CO2 levels have already risen, and there's no change in our temperature.
Well, wait a second. That's not
Actually,
true
it's probably gotten
either.
colder.
Like 8 of the hottest years on record have happened in the past 10 or 15 years.
On record. Okay, this is 200 years of record out of tens of thousands. Not to mention, I'd actually like to see that record because there is shown no evidence of the Earth getting hotter in the last 10 years.
So you don't believe? So wait a second. So let me just be clear here. You don't even believe that there's any global warming. Not just that it's not man-made. You don't believe that global warming is happening.
You know what? I really, as of right now, I don't know if I believe that global warming is even happening. I think there is a climate change going on, but I think the climate is always changing. I don't think there's ever a period where the climate doesn't change. I think it's constantly changing because I think the Earth is actually a living thing it's constantly, it's doing its own thing all the time. We just got out of a little ice age like a couple of thousand years ago. We're still, we've been warming up, but it's going to cool back down. It's going to do the same thing. Canada was colder than Mars this year. That's a joke, right? Like, you think the Earth is warming up and it's colder than a planet that's further away from the sun.
When you talk about the planet, you got to sort of measure the planet. But so let me ask you this. So this is not based on any reading of scientific studies or this and that. This is just sort of your gut feeling. Is that it, or what?
No, there's plenty of scientists out there in the world that have gone on and on and on about how global warming is a bunch of bullshit and that this is just an Al Gore plot, and now I see people being like, oh, well, Al Gore, we're going to have to step away from him now because he's crazy, but global warming still is happening. No, it's not. And scientists are out there telling us that actually it's not happening.
Are there peer-reviewed studies that are telling us that? Are there peer-reviewed studies?
Absolutely there are. The problem is that you're looking at the UN scientists only. You're looking at these government scientists only. You need to look at the private scientists that are out there actually doing the real studies. Okay, they're proving that this is not happening.
I see. Okay.
Did you see the guys that went on the excursion in the boat to go see all
let me just give you this figure. There is one out of 9,136 recent peer-reviewed studies on the question of global warming, and one of them rejects the premise of global warming. So let me ask you this.
That's it? Just one? That's it?
Just one. Just one peer-reviewed. But I'm sure there's some plenty of individual private scientists. The guys who work for, like the guys who work for the tobacco companies or something like that. But let me ask you this. I mean, what? So all right. So you don't accept that, or you don't accept my numbers, or whatever it is. You're just determined to believe that this is the case. What if their doctor came to you and said, "Look, there's a 95% chance that you're gonna die if you don't take this medicine, or if you don't stop drinking"? Would you say, like, "Wow, that's just a 95% chance"? I mean, how would you respond to it?
You know what? I would instantly start going to other doctors. And I would want to see, because I'm not taking the opinion of this one person.
All right, fair enough. So you go to 9,136 doctors. 9,135 of them tell you there's a 95%.
You're missing the bigger picture.
What's the bigger picture?
You're missing the bigger picture here. You're taking these certain scientists. There are thousands of others out there that are saying this is false. There are thousands, and I've read about how there are many people out there saying this is bullshit.
Where have you read that?
But you're looking at all over the internet, all over the news, all over everything. Are you serious? You need to do more research into this whole thing. Are you kidding me? Like, where are you reading this? Are you reading it from Obama? Did Obama tell you this? Did Al Gore tell you this?
Yes, actually.
Is that what's going on here?
They're in my green room right now.
Do you drive an electric car?
Hold on. Wait a second. Good.
Just to make clear to the caller,
who is this?
All peer-reviewed studies support the science of global warming. And I would appreciate if you would shut up, because we might need to send some Benghazi black Muslim security detail at you, because you're going to disrupt our ability to make a killing in the solar market. That's what Sam and I are working on. And whatever you do, please.
Well, let's talk about something. We'll talk about something else. You don't believe in global warming. All right, fair enough. What else do you take issue with that I've talked about on this program?
I saw the video with the guy with the light bulbs. I agree with him. Those fucking light bulb laws are retarded. There's no point in that. all people are having to do now is turn on more light bulbs. I just the whole concept to me is that you can't just really buy whatever fucking light bulb you want. It's kind of weird to me, but that's a side subject. Cars. There's no point to no. Here, let's ask you this question. I bet you are a firm believer that we need to get rid of coal. We just need to get rid of coal power plants. Like, coal is such an ugly, nasty thing that we need to get rid of. I bet you agree with that, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you realize what runs our power in this country? What the main? We're talking like
35% of our power is run as a function of coal. Yeah.
I think it's actually more than 35%. I think that's a low number. I think we're over 50% of the country is riding on coal. All right. Now the government is putting in all these little things where, you can't have any new coal plants or coal mining or any of that. Why? We're not there yet. Technology is not ready for us to be bailing on coal yet. We're just going to spend shit tons of more money trying to get off of it when we don't have shit tons of more money. We're already in the debt, 3-4 trillion, whatever trillion, 17 trillion, 18 trillion dollars. Not to mention, I'm sure you don't even give a shit about that because paper money and we can just print it off. So who fucking cares, right? Like, it's just money, man. Like, go spend it however you want, right? That's the way the government looks at it.
Right.
It's just it's a never-ending pool of money that you can just keep printing
Actually,
off.
it's almost as if it's almost as if the government prints money whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, I mean that's what they do right now. Now this can't last forever. This is gonna crash. It's gonna crash eventually.
Why?
Global warming won't crash, but that will.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it going to crash? Have you looked at the history of mankind, and every single country in history has crashed eventually from doing stupid shit like our government's doing, spending money they don't have, and taxing their people to death, and making the laws that they're making, and doing all these things.
You realize
crumbling our economy.
You realize that there is no one in this country paying more taxes than anyone did prior to 1980. There is no cohort in terms of making money is paying less taxes than they did in 80, except for, I suppose, you could argue that the payroll tax is up a couple of points since then.
Wait, say this again about tax. You could have
our tax rates are at their lowest point since you've been alive.
So what? They should be lower. They should be lower than they are right now. You are taxing people who are running the country. Have you ever been paid by a poor person? Do you get your paycheck by a homeless man? No,
actually,
you don't.
you know what? I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask, but yes, most of the people I think who are members of the show and actually create my paycheck are not in the above $250,000.
Well, technically, then, if you're your own boss and you need to worry about the people who listen to your show through the internet and things that they need to pay for, but if they keep paying their ass out of taxes, they're going to stop listening to your shit because they don't have time for it. You're just another person in this world with a show. And this is people that you're a luxury to people because they can sit around and listen to a radio or a TV or something like that.
An entrepreneur value.
Yeah,
creator.
How dare you? Are you an entrepreneur, sir?
What?
Are you an entrepreneur, sir?
Am I an entrepreneur? Yes, I am, actually. I own my own business.
Yes? How many people
and
do you
work
employ?
for a business.
Huh? You're what?
I employ one other person. Actually,
really?
It's a partner. It's just the two
one?
of us right now.
Well, there are more people working here. So I think clearly you got to be careful about who you're talking to and the way you're talking to. I'm a creator.
I'm talking to Sam Sater, and I'm talking to all. Like, you're not understanding how the economy works when it comes to taxing people. There's no reason for us to be taxing the shit out of our human beings here in this country when they need that money, especially for things that are going to start be costing more, like Obamacare. Everybody's prices jumped. Everybody's prices almost doubled or tripled of how much they're going to be paying. And not to mention they're going to be paying all these taxes.
Do you have any experience in the fast food industry, sir?
All right, come on. All right,
no,
so,
I don't.
All right. I mean, I don't really know how to argue with what you're saying because you're just spewing all the right-wing nonsense. You're not even making an argument. Is there a specific policy you have a problem with? I mean, that we can talk about? You don't like taxation because and you know, so you don't think that we should be putting money into infrastructure. What would you cut from what the government does?
Oh my God, I'd cut almost everything but the military and foreign affairs. That's the only thing they need to be there for. That's the only thing they were designed
military and foreign
originally
affairs.
for.
So no highways, no food inspections, no highways, no food inspections.
No, the federal government doesn't need to be doing that. That can be a state government
Well,
thing.
let me ask you a question.
First
First off, let's not get into the. I'm going to leave aside for a moment the sort of some notion that somehow the state is better. But how do you think the state's going to pay for that? How do you think the state is going to pay? Where do you live in the South, right?
All right.
Presumably,
hold on.
Route
Now, let me go ahead and
95
specify.
goes through one of your states, maybe, or some other major interstate highway. How are the states going to pay for that? Are they going to make up money? What are they going to do? Do you think they're just going to raise their taxes on you?
State taxing their people.
Oh,
I'm fine with the state
so you
doing
don't
it.
have a problem
I'm
with
not
this.
okay with the federal
hold on.
government
Okay, all right.
taxing.
Now we're getting somewhere, James. Now, so you don't have a problem with taxation. You don't care if the state taxes you up to 95% of your income. It's just you have a problem with the federal government.
Hold on here. No. I just have a problem with the federal government taxing on top of the state taxing us, on top of the city taxing us.
Well,
Okay?
why?
There's no reason for that. There's no reason for the federal government. The state government can tax us, and the state government can pay the federal government for their services in the military and their foreign affairs.
So in other words, you reject the founders of this country who set this country up
No, I am for the founders of this country.
Excuse me.
Because that's what they originally set up.
I got news for you, Chief. You are anti-constitutional. Let's face it. The Constitution provides the federal government with the right. No, you are, sir.
All right, how? What, you're telling me that the original founding fathers wanted the federal government to be doing all of this? You're right. They totally set up income tax. They totally did that. They
set up a constitution and an amendment process. And over 100 years ago, we adopted a federal income tax.
Over 100 years ago, 200
prior to that,
sir,
prior to that, the federal government would tax things like alcohol to raise money.
That's
the federal
fine.
government did.
That's a drug. And that if you're going to be legalized and it can be regulated and taxed just like marijuana or any other drug out there.
Well, wait a second. So you don't have a problem with the federal government taxing. You have a problem taxing income.
Well, I have a huge problem. Income tax, I'd say, is my biggest problem in the tax realm. I'm okay with taxing certain things.
See,
because
James,
I understand that
you
it's a
could have
necessary
saved
thing in
us
life.
a lot of valuable minutes by starting out with what is really the problem. So so next time you call in, we'll be able to start from the starting point. You have a problem not with taxes, but with federal taxes, and not federal taxes on goods, but simply on income.
Yeah, no, I have a problem with federal taxes on goods. There's no reason for that. I don't know why they need to have any tariffs or anything on exports or imports that are coming in. There's no reason for that. Let the states do all of this stuff for themselves. If they decide the state wants to do it, then let them do it. That's how the country was designed. And you need to understand how the founding fathers originally set this country up.
So let me ask you this.
Understand.
If the states want to legalize slavery, just to bring this full circle, are you okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with that because a libertarian believes that you own your own property and you own your own body. Your body is a part of your property. You cannot slave anybody. It does not work that way. You cannot enslave anybody.
Okay, so you believe in just the ultimate property rights. Is that it? That's the foundation of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. That's the way the Bill of Rights should have originally said it. That's the way they did say it.
Wait,
they
should have said it,
property and
or they should have said it, or they did say it. Property is the only right that is guaranteed, right? The ultimate right of property. That's it.
It should be, but it's not. You don't own your own property.
That's right.
If you own a house,
do you have a problem with the Constitution or not? Sounds like you do. Sounds like you want to
Huh?
amend the Constitution where property is the only right that people should have.
No, I didn't say that's my only right. What? I never said that was the only right. I said that that is a right, though. You have a right to your property and that you deserve it and that you should not be taxed on it or have
So
to
do
pay
you have a
lease on it.
problem?
That's really what you're
Do you
doing.
have a problem with the state government or the federal government saying, in your property, in your restaurant, you can discriminate against anybody from any race that you want because it's your property?
Yeah, sure. If you want to not feed a white person because they're white, then go ahead, man. If that's then
Believe
no
me, I
one's
do
gonna
it every
go to your
day.
restaurant. That's what you want to do. It's
Okay.
your property.
So, all right. So fair enough.
Don't eat in front of me, white devil.
You have no problem. So you have a problem with
Is
like the Civil Rights
Is there
Act.
a problem with people? Is there a problem with that? Like, can people not do that for their? If you come onto someone's, if you go into someone's house, do you expect them to just do whatever you want? No. If they kick you out of their house, they kick you out of their house. It's their property. The same right that you have if someone walks into your house and you don't want them there.
Well, I'm
You
not
can
talking
kick them
about
out.
house.
You can do that with your-
I'm talking about a restaurant.
a private business.
Yeah.
A business that.
So you got a
What's
problem with the
wrong
Civil
with that?
Rights Act?
With the Civil Rights Act?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a problem with that. Everybody deserves to be free in this world. Everybody. I don't
You
care
don't
who
even know
you
what the
are. It
Civil
doesn't
Rights
matter what
Act
color,
is,
what
do
shape.
you? You're not even aware of what the 1965 Civil Rights Act is. Like you're not aware of the fact that outlawed segregation, right? In
Yes, I understand that it outlawed that. I get that. Now I understand. You know what you're doing right now. You're trying to pinpoint one little thing. You're trying to attack it and make me say it. I get what you're trying to do, and it's really idiotic.
Tell me more specifically what I'm trying to do.
Hold on. If a business wants to do whatever they want to do, that's fine, but they won't last very long if they have that mentality. They will not last.
Well, then why were
People
there
will stop going
businesses
to
that were
business if
doing
they
well
want to
in
do that.
1965 that had to have that law imposed upon them?
Yeah, well, there's tons of laws that are just retarded because people think they're smarter than everybody else and they know how to fix the issue. Okay, that's not going to – I understand that we can't enslave them and we shouldn't have separate bathrooms and we shouldn't have separate water holes and all that. All that shit's stupid. Come on, they can sit wherever they want on a bus, man. Let them sit wherever they want. But if you want to walk into a restaurant, it doesn't have to be a black person, man. It can be anybody. If you want to walk into a restaurant and they don't want to fucking serve you, then they don't serve you. It's as simple as that.
And they can do it based on color. They can do it based on color.
What?
In your mind.
It can be based on whatever they want it to be based on, man. It's whatever they want. It's not going to be a smart business model, but if that's what they want to do, that's their business.
I'm not
and that's the way it should
James.
work.
I get the feeling that maybe a restaurant like that could do rather well in your community.
I'd rather what?
I'm not convinced that a restaurant like that wouldn't do rather well in your community. But look, this has been edifying. I appreciate the phone call.
You're such a Southern racist. You're such a Yankee
you
up
know
there.
what?
You have no idea. Have you ever
No
been to the
Southerners
South?
allowed on this program. My private business.
Oh man.
I'm a Southern racist. All those.
We know about those
Southern race.
Southern racist
Oh
Jews
God, we're
from
all backed
Massachusetts.
up now.